It's time for the Splash Live from Civic Center TV, featuring stories from and about people like you in the Greater West Bloomfield area. Simulcast on cable, 89.3 Lakes FM, social media, and the web. Now live from Green Media Center on Walnut Lake Road, it's the Splash Live.
Live, local, social. It's the Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. I'm your host, Jake Schaff, going over all of the biggest news and events from right here in Greater West Bloomfield. It's springtime in Greater West Bloomfield, and Kego Harbor is gearing up for an eventful spring and summer of fun. But before the block parties, parades, and other activities, the community first had to do a little bit of spring cleaning. Civic Center TV reporter Tyler Kieft has the story.
A gloomy day didn't stop residents of Kego Harbor from volunteering in their city, getting into the muck to get Kego ready for a beautiful sunny summer ahead. Every year, rain or shine, Mary Burke is one of the volunteers who gives up a weekend afternoon to get her hands dirty helping her neighbors, an effort she says connects her to friends and her home.
When you come down here and you see all those leaves clogging up the canal, and you know that just a couple hours of work with 10 people could, make a big difference like that. It's just kind of fun to get a pitchfork in your hand. I'm a youper, and I was used to working around the water, so I saw the need, and it's a great group of people that work together every year, and I like to volunteer.
Kirsten Sonneville Douglas was, as usual, among the people giving their time and hard work for the cleanup as she begins her busy spring and summer of spearheading events, but says it's volunteers like Mary Burke and others that drive summer fun across the heart of the lakes.
We love our community, right? Everyone says Kego's got heart. We really do. I mean, there's no doubt about it when you look at the people that are volunteering and just trying to give back. So they want to make sure that they're making their community better. Mary Burke, I have to give her a shout out. She's always out here with her hat on in the cold, whether it's raining, snowing. The Willow Beach residents will help during the year to kind of help maintain it as well. So I have to make sure we acknowledge them. And then we've got Parks and Rec commissioners. We're all volunteers out here doing the heavy lifting today, literally heavy lifting.
The annual Willow Beach Canal cleanup is the de facto start of the spring-summer calendar for Kego Parks and Rec, but serves a far more important purpose than simply readying the parks for fun and games.
Fran Leaf Park has that pond, but there's a canal that leads out here to Cass Lake, and when the leaves from the winter or the fall in the winter come and get pushed into the canal, then we end up with sewage smell, we can end up with extra critters that we don't want, and then just backing up of that canal.
These are our parks, and we have to start taking care of them if we want to enjoy them, and we don't want the wildlife to, go into peril because we're neglecting what we can do. So, it's a beautiful area, and we have to respect the beautiful land we've been given here in Kego.
Kego's volunteers say a little bit of your time can make a massive difference in the community and hope more people will get involved in continuing Kego Harbor's tradition of tender, loving care amongst neighbors.
We're always looking for younger people to help us because we were saying we're aging out of doing this pretty soon because it's really physical work.
So fun. I joke around that our commission's the fun commission, right? We're the ones that throw the parties. We do this work too. We've got our block parties coming up. We can get some help from the Memorial Day events. And so there's always something to do. You don't have to join the commission. We would love for people to join the commission, but even just giving an hour or 2 hours of their time will really make it a little bit easier for all of us.
There are plenty more ways for you to get involved with Kego Harbor Parks and Rec. Volunteer opportunities all throughout the spring, the summer, and the fall. Learn more ways to get involved on Facebook at KH Parks and on kegoharbor.org. At Willow Beach, I'm Tyler Kieft, Civic Center TV.
Big thank you to Tyler for going out and getting that story. Stay tuned with us all spring and summer for more fun with Kego Harbor Parks and Rec, and visit Facebook at KH Parks for a listing of upcoming events. Many young musicians had a big moment on a bigger stage recently. 12 talented 7th and 8th grade orchestra students had the incredible honor of performing at the Detroit Symphony Orchestra's Middle School Honor Day held at the historic Orchestra Hall. These amazing students proudly represented West Bloomfield, joining peers from over 50 schools across the region. They spent the day rehearsing under the guidance of renowned college-level conductors and refining their craft with professional musicians during sectionals. We are beyond proud of their dedication and the way they showcased the spirit of the West Bloomfield School District. Big congratulations to every single one of those students for an incredible honor and an incredible opportunity. You can see the photos online for yourself on Facebook at West Bloomfield Schools to see all the fun these kids had with the Detroit Symphony Orchestra. This summer, kids will have the chance to learn from a Detroit basketball legend. Don't miss your chance to learn the game from legend Gregory Kelser. Pistons legend Gregory Kelser, I should say. His 2025 basketball camp will be taking place at West Bloomfield High School from July 21st to July 25th for ages 7 to 17. This class is for beginning to experienced players, and you'll be able to learn various drills and exercises along with shooting and playing techniques to improve your skills. Interact with area coaches and players and go home a winner. For more info and to register for the camp, you can go to gregorykelser.com/basketball to learn more about this camp and to learn more about all of the fun these kids are going to be having this summer. April is National Stress Awareness Month. Every April, mental health professionals aim to increase public awareness about the causes and treatments for stress, as it can lead to a wide range of illnesses and risk serious conditions if untreated. I recently spoke with Birmingham Maple Clinic family therapist Carrie Craywick to hear more. Carrie Craywick. Carrie, thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Happy to have you with us. Really interested in getting into this topic, a very important topic for a lot of people. Why is Stress Awareness Month very important, and how can it help individuals and families?
Well, absolutely. Like you said, stress, we all encounter so much stress, and in a lot of ways, stress has got a really bad rap. Stress is a part of our life, and being able to deal with stress healthfully, like you said, will affect your physical health, will affect your relationships. So it's so important to have a healthy approach to stress and healthy responses to stress.
That's right. It's a natural part of life. We're all going to be experiencing stress in some way, shape, or form, whether that's with work, whether that's with your personal life, with relationships. Stress is always going to be there. What are some of the most common sources of stress for families today, would you say?
Gosh, I think it ranges. I mean, certainly they're just busy schedules. And I think even too, like maybe a misinterpretation about stress, that actually people who get stressed out about stress actually have much worse reactions to stress. So people who can really sort of embrace stress or recognize that like we're meant to do hard things.
Okay, looks like we have a screen freeze for a moment.
Stress.
Oh, we're all set. Sorry about that. Looks like we had a quick audio glitch or a video glitch, but we're all back. Just
Okay.
Continue your answer.
Sure. So what I was saying, of course, busy schedules, a lot of comparison, social comparison. Are we doing what we're supposed to be doing, what we should be doing? Are we doing as much as someone else? Workplace stress certainly demands at work, and the things that people face there, demands at school. There's a lot of pressure because we're exposed to so much information. Also, things in the news that might be hurtful or harmful or upsetting certainly cause some people stress. So like I was saying, though, people often just stress about being stressed. And what we've seen, especially even since the time of the pandemic and working from home, is there's actual like a repulsion to stress, which actually causes people more stress.
Stressing about stress, no part of that sounds enjoyable, but it's common. And it's also common in some of the younger residents of the community, children and teens. How can parents recognize signs of stress in their children?
Yeah, I think it's so interesting. Well, you're absolutely right. So being able to turn to your close family for supports, for friends, is actually helps everybody do stress better. So when we're able to turn to our loved ones and say, hey, I'm stressed, and they're able to be supportive to us, it helps both people stress less. It helps release healthy hormones. So it is really important to be noticing whom in our lives is stressed and how can we be supportive to them. One thing, though, is that often someone else's stress might stress us out. So some interesting new information, too, is coming out about how, of course, males and females even biologically respond to stress differently. So whereas a male child or a male adult may look more irritable and more aggressive, that may be their sort of outward display of stress, whereas maybe a female may look more avoidant, more depressed, maybe more internally anxious. That may be their way. And so as a parent, you're going to have to sort of approach your children differently and recognize that the common theme may be stress.
For those just joining us right now on the Splash Live, we have Carrie Krawick with the Birmingham Maple Clinic talking about April being National Stress Awareness Month and what families and residents can be on the lookout for in terms of managing stress. And that's all about what you're trying to do. You are trying to help to manage stress in people. What are some effective coping strategies for managing stress as a family?
Sure. So, well, certainly, like we were saying, so stress can affect our sort of our physical health. It can affect our mental health, and it can affect our behaviors. So, physical health, one of the things that stress can do, like you said, it can increase sickness, it can increase poor eating, overeating, undereating, oversleeping, undersleeping. So, as a family, certainly making sure we have healthy sleep routines, healthy eating routines, healthy exercise routines, time outdoors, and time. Even time together and time with physical touch, hugging, holding hands, all of those things serve to reduce stress.
Sounds like a big component in a lot of those things you just said is self-care, which plays a huge role in reducing stress. But I understand that a lot of people, especially busy parents with a lot of things that they have on their plate, it can be hard to make the time for it. So how can busy parents make time for things like self-care?
For their self-care or the care of their children, I think sometimes just as brief as a couple minutes. Some research shows that even like a 90-second meditation or, a 98-second just like breathing exercise can do wonders to reduce your stress internally. From like a parent-child standpoint or a relational standpoint, dedicating like 10 minutes of just time to be present, not necessarily to talk about problems, but just to be with each other, kind of screen-free, demand-free, and just kind of like 10 minutes of just time being together can also reduce stress, improve health, and improve the strength of the relationship, and also improve the trust to be able to reveal those things that cause stress. I think, like you said, sometimes it feels like we don't have the time or we're so tired and then we're stressed about being tired. We're stressed about being stressed later. We're stressed about being late. All of these things, the demands, they cause us to make bad behavioral choices, like maybe over-reliant on caffeine or nicotine or alcohol or other stuff to just keep us going. But really, kind of limiting our screen use later in the day, limiting caffeine use, limiting alcohol use, all of those things are going to have benefits in our sleep and our physical health that in the long term are also going to reduce our stress and reduce our responses to stress.
All very helpful tips to help keep everybody stress-free and to keep them relaxed. And how can open communication within the family help alleviate stress?
Such an awesome question. So the research shows, like I said, is that when we share our stress, when we share our life with other people, we actually handle stress better. So like the cuddle hormones and the oxytocin, the things we expect, like from mothers and babies early in their life, when in our families and our relationships, we connect and we talk about our hopes and wishes, about our fears and our embarrassments. When we talk about sort of the ins and outs of our life, we actually have better oxygen flow through our body. We actually have better of the healthy hormones through our body. We have a reduction in stress hormones. And it's actually one of the benefits of a therapeutic relationship that if you don't feel comfortable sharing with people in your personal life, that some of that same effect can be gained in a therapy relationship.
That's right, and I want to touch on that just a little bit because we can do a lot of things to help reduce stress, but in some cases, stress can become unmanageable for some people. What are some signs that stress is becoming unmanageable, and when would be that moment that someone should seek professional help, would you say?
Sure. So as therapists, we always think about intensity, frequency, and duration. So we are made to have stress. We are made to encounter stress. I always say it's like starting a lawnmower to get you going. A little bit of stress kind of pumps us up, amps us up, and gets us ready to go. And that stress is good stress. So if we have a brief burst of stress and then we sort of get the momentum we need to roll through our life, that's acceptable. So we should have stress and then rest. But if your stress is constant, it's intense, it's interfering with areas of your life, it's interfering with your social relationships, it's interfering with your sleep, it's interfering with your health, and there's not periods of break in between, then that's really a sign that you need more help.
I love that lawnmower analogy. That is so perfect. Once again, Carrie Krawick from the Birmingham Maple Clinic is joining us right here on The Splash to talk about April being Stress Awareness Month. And Carrie, one more quick question before we let you go. Are there any resources or community programs available to help families who are currently dealing with high levels of stress?
Certainly. I mean, there's lots of resources available, for, again, if it comes to, if you need to get outdoors and, you look at your local parks and there may be even like Tai Chi or, opportunities for meditation. Some are free opportunities, and a lot of the parks and recs are offering things like that, or group hikes, opportunities to be together and outdoors. Certainly, any of the government pages, the National Institute of Mental Health, any suicide awareness hotline pages, those are also going to be able to guide people towards healthy choices, and the things to be able to recognize to say, hey, what are the signs that I need more help, and then some direction into how to get it.
All great information. Carrie, thank you so much for joining us today here on The Splash Live to talk about this.
Thank you so much for having me.
All very important information to have out there throughout Stress Awareness Month. So again, we appreciate Carrie Krawick for stopping by and for giving us all of that information here on The Splash Live. In just a few short weeks, the Chaldean Community Foundation will be opening their brand new building right here in West Bloomfield. And they're commemorating this moment with a ribbon cutting event that will be taking place on Friday, May 2nd from 12 o'clock noon to 2 p.m. Here to tell us more about the event and to share his thoughts on the new building, we have Tom Haji joining us on The Splash Live, a board member with the Chaldean Cultural Center. Tom, good morning.
Hey, good morning. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Glad to have you with us. Really, really happy to hear about this brand new building making its way to West Bloomfield. What does this ribbon cutting ceremony represent for the Chaldean Community Foundation and the Chamber of Commerce?
Well, we've made tremendous strides these past 20 years since our inception of the Chaldean American Chamber of Commerce. And, West Bloomfield is home to many Chaldeans. I believe 20 to 25% of the population is Chaldean. So it's been long overdue for us to launch this building. It's very exciting. We're excited about May 2nd and looking forward to all the dignitaries. And the governor will also be here. So we're excited about it.
That's great. It's such a big deal for the community. You should be very excited. Can you share some of the highlights or unique features of the new facility that attendees should look forward to seeing?
Oh, yes, definitely. This is definitely different from our Sterling Heights facility, which is mainly focused on social and humanitarian and program-based programs. We service over 48,000 people over in our Sterling Heights facility. This facility will be mainly for cultural competency, cultural awareness. So we're going to have a library that will host a lot of our old manuscripts dating back to 500 AD. We'll have the only Chaldean museum. We're moving it from Shenandoah to our facility here and doubling its size. Again, the only Chaldean museum in the world right now, unfortunately. But we'll have a TV radio station. I'm actually sitting inside the TV studio, as you can see the backdrop there, trying to keep up with you guys. But we have a theater, we have a gymnasium, we have a community kitchen. We'll have classes to teach the community, Chaldean and non-Chaldean. Everyone is welcome to come and sit on the classes and learn our food, learn our heritage, learn about our culture. It's going to be exciting.
Man, this place sounds awesome. I can't wait to see it. But why was right now the right time for the foundation and the chamber to expand or relocate into a new facility?
Yeah, we're definitely expanding. We've made some great strides. Michigan is our home. It's been our home for almost 100 years now. The first Chaldean pioneers came here uh, looking for opportunity, automotive jobs, and then obviously our background being merchants, we got into the grocery business and have expanded since then into many other careers. We even have Chaldean that's in NASA, and Chaldean is doing amazing things. We had a Time Magazine Chaldean of the year, Person of the Year. I mean, so and Michigan has been our home. West Bloomfield has been our home, like I mentioned. So it's been long overdue. We've been looking at this building actually for the last 10 years, waiting for an opportunity to purchase it, and the time came late in 2022 where we pulled the trigger. So.
Awesome. And I'm sure everybody in the community is very, very excited and can't wait to see this new building. What kinds of services or initiatives will this new facility allow the foundation and chamber to offer that weren't possible before?
Yeah, like I mentioned, we have classrooms here as well that will teach, our language, our heritage language, Aramaic. We'll also have some other classes depending on what the need is. Obviously that's how Sterling Heights started. Sterling Heights started off as a 1,100 square foot building, and now we're at 30,000 square feet over there. This building is 42,000 square feet. So it's going to have like I mentioned, classrooms to teach our language. We'll have a business incubator. Back in 2020, we launched a angel fund and have invested in 7 companies, and we have over 1,000 chamber members to date. And so we're offering our services to assist them in business development and other opportunities. Again, our motto is, building business, building relationships, building community. So, and again, the gymnasium for youth programs, the theater to hold, special events, documentaries, the TV radio station. We'll have the Chaldean Voice here as well. So a lot of exciting things happening. The Chaldean Chamber offices will be here, the Chaldean News. So exciting stuff.
Very, very exciting stuff. For those just joining us right now on the Splash Live, we have Tom Haji, a board member with the Chaldean Foundation of Michigan, talking about the brand new Chaldean Cultural Center that's making its way to Michigan and will be having its ribbon cutting in West Bloomfield on May the 2nd. And Tom, you touched on this a little bit earlier, but how does this new facility reflect the growth and resilience of the Chaldean American community here in Michigan?
Well, it's definitely a big milestone for us. In 2008, we did a survey. Walsh College conducted a survey where there was only 100,000 Chaldeans in Michigan, and we recently refreshed that survey. We're roughly around 200,000 Chaldeans. So it's a huge milestone. We finally have a voice not only in Michigan but in Washington, D.C. and around the world. Our president has recently visited the Middle East, and we're building bridges there as well. So our voice is being heard all the way through the state capitol, D.C., and around the globe. So it's a pretty big deal for such a small community. There used to be over 1 million Chaldeans in Iraq, not too long ago, and now there's less than 200,000. And so this is our new home. So.
And it's a very great home to have. Tom, what message do you hope this new space sends to young Chaldean professionals and entrepreneurs?
Well, they should be proud. They should be proud to be Chaldean. They should get more involved. We are the next generation. I know if we don't keep our language and our heritage going, we're going to lose it, and we don't want to do that. We have a very long history, over 5,500 year history, and Jesus spoke our language, and it's something to be proud of and something to get more people involved. So we need the youth to get more involved, and we have a very strong community here in West Bloomfield and Sterling Heights, and we just ask that everybody make their way through and see how we can keep the growth going.
Of course, and we want to see this community grow as big as it can possibly be. Tom, just a couple more questions before we let you go. Looking ahead, what are your hopes for the future of the foundation and the chamber as they settle into this new home?
Our hopes is to continue our mission. We're building attainable housing in Sterling Heights. We want to do something in in Oakland County. We're building 135 units right now that will be complete in the next month or so. So we'll have a nice ribbon cutting over there, and then we're planning on building another 82 units in Sterling Heights. But definitely West Bloomfield, Oakland County, we want to do something in this area. And again, this is where most of our people live, and this is our home. And we just hope that we continue the growth, continue the awareness to the community, and educate people on who we are and what we're made of.
Absolutely, and everyone is going to love what's to come with the new Chaldean Center. Tom, one last quick question. Where can people go to gain a little more information about this ribbon cutting event?
They can simply visit, our website, chaldeanfoundation.org or chaldeanchamber.com. Our social media handles as well on Facebook and Twitter and the rest of the platforms, LinkedIn. But we're excited. It's going to be more of an intimate ribbon cutting, and then we'll have an official grand opening a couple months later to open to the public. So.
Awesome. Great information to have, and a great building that's making its way right here to West Bloomfield. Tom, thank you so much for joining us today here on the Splash Live.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Absolutely. This building is going to bring so many great things for the West Bloomfield community and the Chaldean community. So we appreciate Tom for providing all of this information on the ribbon cutting that's taking place May 2nd. We're just getting started here on the Splash Live. Plenty of other big stories and topics to get into right after this break. Live, local, social. It's the Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.
We'll be right back with the Splash Live.
Hey everybody, I'm Oakland County Executive Dave Coulter, and I want to congratulate Civic Center TV on surpassing 1 million views on YouTube. That's a huge milestone, and it's more important than ever in this day and age that we have good, independent, local, reputable journalism. And I want to congratulate Civic Center TV on this important milestone. I'm Dave Coulter, and I'm proud to be one in a million.
Last week, Brandon met a girl on a dating app. One day after work, he finally found the courage to ask her out. No answer. He started to panic. Was he being too pushy? Maybe it was too...
Hey, sorry I didn't respond. I was driving. I would love to go on a date. How does tonight sound?
Brandon tried to play it cool, but inside he knew. A girl so smart, so responsible. She must be a keeper.
If a fire broke out tonight while you were sleeping, would you and your loved ones be able to get out safely? Take a few minutes to plan your escape from a fire and practice it with everyone in your household. Make sure everyone knows 2 ways out of each room if possible. Have a meeting place away from the home where everyone can meet and call the fire department from outside the home. Remember, get out and stay out. Be safe and have a great day.
Missed one of our live broadcasts or one of your local municipal meetings? Check it out online at civiccentertv.com. Every meeting, show, and interview on demand. Thank you for watching and listening to Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. And now, back to the Splash Live.
Live, local, social. It's the Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. I'm your host, Jake Schaff, going over all of the biggest topics and events from right here in Greater West Bloomfield. Just recently, Jewish Senior Life launched a senior education program with local universities. Jewish Senior Life of Metropolitan Detroit has launched their Live and Learn community project, providing education opportunities for some of the many seniors of our community. Nancy Siegel-Heinrich, the CEO of Jewish Senior Life, told us all about it on The Splash not too long ago. Nancy Siegel-Heinrich joining us right now. Nancy, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm really good, and I'm really interested to get into this conversation. It really captured my attention. So let's get into the Live and Learn community with Jewish Senior Life. How did that idea get started?
Well, all across the country, there are some university towns that have built some senior complexes right on the campus. And those communities allow the residents, the senior residents, to come in and learn with the students. I love that idea. I've always felt like the best thing in the world to do in retirement would be to go back to college, to learn with friends, and especially if tests were not involved or writing papers. So I knew I couldn't bring our residences to a campus, and it would be difficult to bring my residents to campuses outside of our immediate environment. So I thought, why not bring the university to our communities, which is what we've done.
And that is amazing. That's great that you're able to provide that immersive, that true college experience to these seniors. And you're doing so with the partnership from Oakland University. How does that help to enhance the educational experience for the seniors?
Well, Oakland University has the highest level of educational offerings around. And we just enjoy their faculty so much, and the range of classes that they can bring to our residents. The content has been superb that they've helped us provide. So it's been an unbelievable partnership.
I can imagine so. And I'm really curious to ask, what are some of the classes that this program helps to offer for the seniors at Jewish Senior Life?
You know, if you don't mind, I'm going to read about some of them on my cheat sheet here, because I don't want to get the nature of these classes at all incorrect. American political institutions, Congress, the presidency, and the Supreme Court. And now a word from our sponsor, a look back at early TV advertising. Everything you need to know about artificial intelligence, but we're afraid to ask. A history, La Traviata, opera at its finest. Our residents are just thriving with this classwork. It's unbelievable.
Wow, some of those classes sound really, really interesting. I'm curious in checking some of them out myself. But what are some of the key benefits that some of these older adults experience from participating in these educational programs with JSL?
So, of course, they get intellectual stimulation and learning opportunities and growth opportunities. But beyond all of that great benefit of exercising your mind, staying young, is the socialization of learning together. Our residents, even though they are in close community with one another, now have opportunities to share meaningful conversations about content that they've learned together. So socialization is a huge key to this.
Absolutely. This would provide much more opportunities for these seniors to communicate with one another, forming these bonds all over a shared interest in the classes that they're taking. That sounds incredible. For those just joining us right now on the Splash Live, we have the CEO of Jewish Senior Life, Nancy Siegel-Heinrich, joining us right now on the Splash to talk about the Live and Learn community program that's happening with Jewish Senior Life. And having had this program for a while now, what has been some of the feedback from the seniors who've participated in this?
The seniors are just so thrilled. We've had people say this is the best experience of their life, or they feel young again, or they're just delighted to have these opportunities. So as the CEO of an organization that supports older adults, there's no more beautiful feeling than that you're supporting your residents in their continued growth. It's beautiful.
I can imagine so. It sounds like a very beautiful experience. I can also imagine that maybe there's some seniors who might need a little bit of help to get started and to get things going with classes like these. So what unique strategies does Jewish Senior Life use to foster engagement and connection among these residents during these courses?
So what we do is we offer an entire range of opportunities. We have small learning opportunities that are suitable for some folks, where you might be together with 4 or 5 students and be in a writing seminar or a short story seminar. Then we have lecture styles that are larger and more more about the give and take between the professor and the resident. And we also provide outings that are related to the content that we share with them. So, for instance, our class on La Traviata went to the Michigan Opera Theater to see the opera. So they got to engage at an even more personal level with the actual content and the principles of the theater.
Wow, very immersive experiences. I like that in giving these seniors the opportunity to see some of these courses and see some of these shows up close. I really love hearing about that. And how does the Live and Learn community contribute to the physical, social, and emotional wellness of the JSL residents?
Well, of course, there is a trend in older adults to cocoon and not be as social as they could be. So the first thing that happens is people come out of their apartments for these special opportunities and they get to be together. So there's that socialization aspect. There's the activity of going to and from the classes and sharing in our graduation ceremonies. So when you stimulate the mind and you stimulate socialization, the benefits of increased longevity, better cognition, keeping your mind active, all of those things together, it's magic.
Well, I'm really excited to be hearing about this program. I hope it sticks around for a very long time, Nancy. One more quick question before we let you go. How do you hope to see the Live and Learn program expand, and what are your goals to expanding it to other residences?
So we are anxious to expand the program to all of our communities. We have 6 communities on 2 campuses, one in West Bloomfield and one in Oak Park. We have independent living, assisted living, and memory care. And we have market rate communities and HUD subsidized communities. And we feel that content at this college level is appropriate for everyone. So we are out there obtaining funding as we can to make sure that we can bring this experience to all of our residents on all of our campuses, in all of our buildings. So it's just an opportunity that we think is so perfect to engage our residents and to enrich their lives, which is part of our mission, a huge part of our mission. And of course, we are Jewish Senior Life, but we're open to people of all faiths and beliefs, and we welcome everybody to come, live with us, and learn with us.
I want to see this program expand as far as it can go. I can't wait to see what's to come in the future. Nancy, thank you so much for joining us today here on The Splash Live.
My pleasure. Thank you so much.
Such a fun program with Jewish Senior Life, and it's great that a lot of these seniors are getting another chance to continue their educational journeys. So big thank you to Nancy for stopping by and for telling us all that information about the Live and Learn program. The National Weather Service is currently seeking volunteers to observe rain patterns across southeastern Michigan. The Weather Service has long relied on observers, and the reports help to track precipitation patterns, verify forecasts, and assess flooding potential. Sarah Schultz from the National Weather Service recently joined us on the Splash Live to tell us more. We have a meteorologist with the National Weather Service of Detroit and Pontiac, Sarah Schultz, joining us right now on The Splash. Sarah, good morning.
Hi.
Hi, good to see you. Happy to have you with us. Really interested about this position for people to be getting with the National Weather Service. Can you explain why volunteer precipitation observers are so important to the National Weather Service?
Yes, again, thank you for having me. And
of course,
we really need precipitation observers. And this program that this is through is called COCORAS, which stands for the Community Collaborative Rain, Hail, and Snow Network. And they're observers from all ages and backgrounds that measure precipitation for us, not only rain and snow, but hail too. And again, it just allows people to become a part of a community-based science network And again, that allows for us to help, with forecasts, flooding, drought, and it's not only used by us here at the office, but it's also used by farmers, city utilities, emergency management, engineers, and research too. So it's used across the country, and you can go on to kokoros.org for this. But yes, it's very important, and it helps us, with a lot of things.
Wow, sounds like it makes a really big difference for the National Weather Service. And what kind of training or equipment do volunteers receive to report this precipitation accurately?
Yes. So to join Kokoros, you'll go on the website, and right on the upper right, there's a item where you can click Join Kokoros. There you will sign up with all your information, and all it takes for training is to watch a few videos, which are a lot of fun to watch, and you are ready. One thing I do want to preference is we want to make sure that your rain gauge, because you will also have to buy a rain gauge. So it's a pretty inexpensive rain gauge. I have example of one of the rain gauges right here.
Oh, wow.
So this is our Google rain gauge. Yes. It's got spikes on it, but you can also there's two versions that you can get. So there's two, but you can go and buy a rain gauge. They're about $40 to $60. And once you get that, you can start measuring the precipitation. And again, watch the training videos. And once you get your rain gauge sighted properly, because that's very important, is we don't want people to put them under a tree or right next to a house. So we want to make sure that it is sighted well. But yeah, once you get all that set up, it's real easy, fun training, and you're good to go.
Right. I can imagine if you set something like that under a tree or by a house, there'd be a bigger influx of rain, and that might affect some of the measurements. So, of course, you want it to be as accurate as possible. And are there specific areas in southeastern Michigan that are in a greater need for some of these volunteer observers?
Yeah, there is, especially our less populated areas, especially up in the Thumb area. We really need observers up there. Especially for rainfall and snowfall too. Snowfall, we can only see so much with the radar up there. And so if we have, we need especially those snowfall reports to help us gauge, like, okay, how much is actually coming off the lake. Lake effect snow is actually very hard to forecast. So when we get reports, that helps us a lot.
That's right. It is important to keep track of snow right now. Even though spring has officially sprung, snow is still a very big possibility. I saw some snow just yesterday. It's still possible anywhere you see it. So what has been the public response so far in terms of this call to the volunteers?
It has been very good. Right now, the month of March, we are in what we have it titled Rain Gauge Rally. And so it's kind of like a March Madness, but we just encourage people to sign up, get as many volunteers signed up as we can. So yeah, if you can go on and sign up, that would be great.
That's right. We have meteorologist Sarah Schultz joining us right now from the National Weather Service of Detroit and Pontiac, talking about the call for precipitation trackers and observers for the National Weather Services. And have past observations from volunteers, has that led to a significant improvements involving weather forecasting or emergency preparedness?
Oh, yes, it definitely has, and it continues to do so. And the more observers that we can get to measure precipitation, correctly and, accurately, that actually allows, better forecasts, and it allows for a more complete and detailed picture of what's actually going on. Because we all know, living in the state, that it can be snowing at one location and raining a few miles away. So having that bigger picture is essential across the board.
I would imagine so. And I'm curious, are there any challenges that can arise with some of these volunteers in ensuring that volunteer data is consistent and reliable?
The biggest issue that we run into is just, we want to properly train. And so, another one is where the precipitation gauge is. We don't want it on a roof or anything like that. There are certain criteria that you need to be careful of. Again, put it out in an open area and know how to, what you're reading too. Another big concern too that we look at every day, we actually quality control the data that comes in from the observers, and a lot of times, just like common mistakes that are made, are just moving that decimal point over. So instead of raining 0.14 inches, they might have incorrectly put 1.4 inches, which is a huge difference. But we try to catch that at the office when that comes in.
That's right. You got to stay alert and you got to watch out for mistakes like that. And the Weather Service, of course, in the news, there have been some recent budget cuts to the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, which does, of course, include the Weather Service. How does the Weather Service plan to maintain its level of service despite some of these budget cuts that have taken place?
We still continue with the mission here at the office, which is protection of life and property. And Kokoros, we do work with them. They're based out in Colorado, so it's not actually with the Weather Service. But again, all that information comes in and we all use it, and it's all combined. So we all work very closely together. So that will be, continuing.
That's absolutely right. All of that information and all of that teamwork makes a huge difference. Sarah, last question before we let you go. What advice would you give to someone who might be watching this, who's considering to be signing up to become a precipitation observer?
Have fun with it. This isn't, we don't want you to be stressed out about it or anything, but just, have fun with it. Sign up, look at the videos, watch it, and then just be curious about, okay, what is, what's happening, what's snowfall. And it's great to always kind of learn something new. And even if you just have a little interest, in rain and snow, it's a great thing to do. And you don't have to do it every day either. And that's a big thing too. Like, you can go on vacation and then come back and do it. So that's really nice with this program.
It sounds like an incredible program. Can't wait to see what comes from it. Sarah, thank you so much for joining us today here on the Splash Live.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
More incredible programs that impact everybody out here in Greater West Bloomfield, and ones that can help impact people all across the world. Appreciate Sarah for stopping by and for telling us all about this great program with the National Weather Service. Plenty of other great stories to get into right after this quick commercial break. Live, local, social. It's the Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.
We'll be right back with the Splash Live.
So much is happening in your community. Join Jake, Tyler, and Kevin for local events and developments on the Splash Live, weekdays at 10 a.m. on CivicCenterTV.com, YouTube, and Facebook.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move, so I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
Find local municipal meetings at our program schedule on CivicCenterTV.com. Find when your meetings air live or when they're replaying on our Civic Center TV live stream. Find it all at CivicCenterTV.com and click Schedule at the top of the screen. And now, back to the Splash Live.
Live, local, social. It's the Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. I'm your host, Jake Schaff, going over all of the biggest news and events from right here in Greater West Bloomfield. Celebrating Passover with an impactful campaign. Chabad Lubavitch of Michigan has launched a statewide initiative to deliver over 12,000 hand-baked Shemora matzahs ahead of Passover, ensuring no Jew left behind. The effort aims to reach Jewish homes from urban centers like Detroit to rural towns, fostering unity, tradition, and inclusion. Here to tell us more is the VP and Executive Director of Chabad Lubavitch of Michigan, Rabbi Kazriel Shemtov. Rabbi, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Good to be here.
Absolutely. Happy to have you with us and really interested in learning about this incredible campaign. What inspired this year's No Jew Left Behind campaign, and how has the West Bloomfield community been involved in supporting or receiving it?
Well, every single year when Passover comes, we head out with a campaign to be able to reach out to our fellow Jews, be able to bring the spirit of Passover. Every Jew should feel welcome. Every Jew should feel part of it. And so many do. It's the most practiced holiday within the Jewish community. And we do that. One of the methods is by handing out the matzah, which is the centerpiece of our Seder, the handmade matzah that we eat on the 2 first nights of Passover. Now, in previous years, you may remember we had these mitzvah mobiles, mitzvah tanks, we call them, to bring this all over the community. Over the last few years, we've done that. And we hand out these matzahs individually to Jewish homes. And this year, there was an inspiration by some of the members of the community, some of the rabbis, that if until now we reached a few thousand members, why not go all the way and try to reach every single Jew? And I heard you mention in the opening that we reached 12,000 Jewish families. The number is now up to already 15 or 16,000.
Wow.
We're still going strong, still trying to reach as much as possible. And it's with a great spirit and enthusiasm that so many members of our community are trying to do that.
That is incredible. I love hearing that the numbers keep getting higher. And you just touched upon what a Shemura Matzah is. How do you see the Shemura Matzah helping local families connect with their heritage and faith during Passover?
Well, Shemura Matzah means protected matzah. Spiritually, from a Jewish perspective, this matzah is called the bread of faith, and it's also called bread of healing. And when you sit down at this Seder and you have the biblical commandment of eating this very matzah, to a Jewish person, that's very important. And when we give that opportunity and that possibility for every single Jew to be able to participate with his community and celebrating his heritage and celebrating this special mitzvah, that brings people closer. It allows Jews to be able to feel connected, embraced, taken care of, and being able to celebrate the holiday of our freedom. Remember, the matzah, the commandment, the biblical commandment of matzah is that the Jewish people were enslaved in Egypt, and God took us out through our leader Moses, and they didn't have time for their bread to rise. They were taken out from Egypt in a miraculous fashion, and therefore the matzah was flat. And that's why we are given the commandment to eat the matzah every year, to remember that celebration, to remember that commandment, to remember that exodus of Egypt. So when we all do that together on the Passover night, the first 2 Passover nights, that is truly a great celebration. And every Jew could be able to feel part of his community and part of that message of freedom.
That's amazing. You always love hearing about stuff like that, and you hear about the importance of messages like this and what they mean for the community. How can West Bloomfield residents, Jewish or not, support or get involved with initiatives like this Matzah mission?
Well, the first initiative is we should care about each other. And that goes to the Jewish community and every human being and every person at a time like this can be, can learn that lesson. I would like to also, before we get into that, I would like to just share another message of the matzah, the spiritual message of the matzah. What is the difference between what we Jews eat on a Friday night, which is challah, beautiful bread, and the matzah? So as I said earlier, the matzah didn't have time to rise. Typical bread, you let it sit, you let the dough sit for a while, and it rises, and it's inflated. And in many cases, it's tastier. The matzah is flat. It's flour and water. It had no time to rise, so it's like a cracker. So what is the difference? So spiritually, we're told that each one of us, we are blessed with many characteristics given to us by God, and one of them is that we have an ego. And sometimes it's an inflated ego. And when we have an inflated ego, sometimes we think more about ourselves than our fellow human being. We think more about ourselves than we think about God, the creator of the universe. When we have matzah, which is not inflated, that represents us with humility. And when a person has humility, we realize it's not all about me. It's not all my achievement. I was given these blessings by God, and therefore I was able to do what I do. And therefore I have to try to connect with what God has to offer me. And I also have to look at another human being and try to embrace him. So when it comes to Pesach, we say, to Passover, we say, how do you go free? How do you go free from your limitations? By being more humble, by being more the matzah, which is not inflated. And that is a message that all of us can participate in. Because if we can all find that humility, we can go free. We don't have to be shackled by our own limitations. We can allow ourselves to go free and embrace each other and accomplish so much more. In terms of, on a practical level, with this campaign, as you have asked, I would suggest every single Jew to see if they have any friends and be able to invite them for a Seder, be able to invite them to participate in the holiday. As Chabad, we have a website, chabadmi.com. If there's anyone that doesn't have a place for a Seder or needs the matzah or any other of the needs of the Passover holiday, please let us know and we can find a way to help out. And to the general community, this is a wonderful time to be able to celebrate with each other the message of freedom, which is a message dear to the hearts of every American and every one of us, and the message of humility, to be able to think about each other, not only about ourselves.
Very well said. For those just joining us on the Splash Live, we have Rabbi Kazriel Shemtov, the Executive Director of Chabad Lubavitch, joining us right now on the Splash Live to talk about the incredible matzah mission that is currently being taken place and has provided, I believe you said 16,000 matzah meals to people at this point. I mean, that is just incredible.
16,000 packages with a handmade matzah. I would like to show you one, if you don't mind.
Of course.
The package looks like this, which is a box of handmade matzah. It also has a little bit of wine as a message of the 4 cups of wine that we drink by the Seder. And a handmade matzah looks like this.
Ooh.
This was made handmade, not machine. They put together flour and water, put it into an oven, and it was all created within 18 minutes. Very quick process, because you don't give it time to rise.
Right.
It's actually takes a lot of effort and it's expensive, this matzah. And by us sending this out, it's really a message of to each and every one to be able to have this mitzvah of matzah, and also if there's a need for more help, to be able to reach out for more help.
That's exactly right. Rabbi, we are running short on time. I'd love to get so much more information about this, but I am just going to ask one more question. In your experience, what impact does a small gesture like the delivery of a single piece of matzah have on someone spiritually or emotionally in our community?
I personally received a few calls of individuals who I'd never met before. And they say, I came home and I see this package. Is this real? Is this from you? This is amazing. How did you know where I live? I feel so connected. And I asked them, do you have a place for your Seder? And they said no. And I immediately told them about a Seder and connected them with a local Chabad center for them to be able to appreciate it. So this reaching out and touching an individual, and each one of us can do that in so many ways, is truly impactful.
Absolutely, it certainly is, and we appreciate everything that you do for the community and everything that you have done with this mission. Rabbi Shemtov, thank you so much for joining us today, this morning on the Splash Live.
Thank you very much. May everyone blessed with a kosher and happy Passover.
Absolutely. Thank you. And this was such a lovely story and a lovely mission that Chabad Lubavitch is taking place right now. And it's the perfect kind of story to wrap up our show today. That is going to do it for us today here on the Splash Live. I want to say a big thank you to all of our guests for stopping by and for sharing all of their information and the guidelines that make this community what it is. And big thank you to Calvin Brown and Kevin McIntosh at Master Control. I've been your host, Jake Schaff. Live, local, social. It's the Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.